Hey, thank you so much for watching and listening. We're continuing our series about opportunity launching pads. And of course, I want to encourage you to subscribe because we have amazing content here. And of course, like I always say, the jokes are so wonderful. They're worth the subscription. I say tongue in cheek because I know they're super cheesy. But I want us to continue looking at the opportunity launching pads. And I said this last week, I kind of introduced this in terms of a launching pad and thinking about a launching pad for a rocket and what that looks like. So the launching pad has to be a really hard spot that has tremendous strength to it because it's going to get a massive amount of pressure, a massive amount of heat, a massive amount of hardship and difficulty. And from that, then the rocket can launch and go someplace very spectacular, very wonderful up into outer space. But I bring it to your attention because I think that a lot of things in our life, if we think in the way of God sees them, they are launching pads. They are launching pads. So last week we talked about the launching pad of ignorance. I don't know what to do. I don't have an answer. I don't have a solution. I'm not smart enough. That's a launching pad because it's a launching pad for God's wisdom. And we read about that in James 1, verse 5. But I want to provide another launching pad for you to consider today, and it's the launching pad of hurt. Hurt. And that can be a whole spectrum of things. That can be physical hurt, where you're injured. You have, like there's a problem in your body. That can be a diagnosis from a doctor, like that I'm really hurt. I remember I had, lots of different injuries, snowboarding injuries, and different stuff that I've done, and I'm hurt. And so it compromises my ability to do something. And those places that are hurt, not only physically, but we can also think in terms of our heart, right? A hurt heart, hurt emotions, hurt in lots of different areas, lots of different ways. Maybe you've been hurt with God, disappointed in God. But I want us to look at hurt because I think hurt can be a launching pad for healing. It's the place where we don't celebrate. It's a physical weakness. It's an emotional struggle. It's a place that we don't want to poke. It might be bruised, might be stuff from the past and trigger points and tender spots. Hurt. And all of us have hurt, whether it's physical hurt, emotional hurt, hurt from memories. We all have hurt. And I think you could probably speak in some new ways of hurt that I haven't even thought of. But we all have hurt. And sometimes if we're not careful, we try to medicate our hurt. We try to, work around it. And we do all kinds of stuff. But hurt can be a launching pad for God's healing. And I want you to think about this in relation to Jesus, because Jesus stepped into all kinds of hurt with people. He stepped into it. I think about Mary Magdalene. And we read about her at the end, kind of as she's a follower of Jesus. But it's interesting because a side note for Mary Magdalene, when they first introduced her, it says she was a woman from whom Jesus had driven out like 7 demons. I'm just going to tell you, a demon-possessed person, 7 demons, that's very hurtful. But it was a launching pad. When Jesus stepped into that hurt, he set her free. And it was a launching pad for her sanity and for her relationship and connection with Jesus. She was the first person to recognize Jesus had risen from the dead. I think that's a really powerful thing to consider. Because from the hurt, when Jesus stepped into that, he turned it into healing. And it became something very powerful and celebrated that she would be the first person who sees him raised from the dead. Let me give you some other examples. In John chapter 5, there's a man by the pool of Bethesda, and it said he'd been sick for a very long time. Jesus walks up to him, and I find this is like so powerful. He's on his mat, and he's waiting for this is kind of the myth of it, or what everybody believed. They believed that an angel would come on an annual basis and stir up the waters at this pool, and when the waters got stirred up, whoever put themselves in it first was healed. And so this guy had been trying to get the lucky lottery, if you will, annual lottery, and he didn't make it. And so Jesus sees him on his mat, walks up to him and says, Do you want to be well? I think that's a really important question. And I want you to consider too, this is at the pool of Bethesda. That's what it says in English. But Bethesda, looking at it from its Hebrew roots, Bet meaning house, and Chesed meaning loving kindness. The house of loving kindness. And in Hebrew, Chesed, loving kindness, is the kind of love that God has for us. It's the word, the phrase that gets repeated over and over and over again. I think it's Psalms 136. The loving kindness of the Lord endures forever. A place of love. And I would say to you that your place of deficiency, your place of hurt, your place of ignorance, these launching pads are the house, the place where the loving kindness of God, when we open up our hearts, when we are yielded and willing, there can be a launching pad for God to be who God is and do what God does. But Jesus asked this really pivotal question, do you want to be well? And I think that's really important for us because in all of our hurt, we have learned how to compensate and work around those hurts. For example, I dislocated my shoulder back in my late teens, and I had surgery on it, and it was really painful and all that stuff. And so to this day, and I learned how to put on my shirt or take off my shirt, with minimal usage of this. And it's, if I put on or take off a sweatshirt to this day, I have this weird compensatory behavior that accommodates that hurt injury from my late teens. And we have compensatory behaviors with hurt, emotional hurt, physical hurt. And if we're not careful, I think sometimes we will hold on to the compensation, the compensatory behavior, rather than Jesus for healing. And this is his fundamental core question. Do you want to be well? You've got a launching pad. You're sick. You're hurt. There's lack. There's hardship in your life. Emotional issues, memories, whatever it is. You have the launching pad ready and set. But the question that Jesus asks is, do you want to be well? Because if you let Jesus step in and help you to be well, then that means that some of that compensatory behavior needs to fall away. And you're choosing to hold on to Jesus and let go of not only the hurt, but also the behaviors that you've acquired to navigate that hurt. Do you want to be well? Because it's a launching pad. Your hurt can be Jesus' launching pad for his healing. And that's exactly what this guy says. Yes, I've been trying to get in, but nobody helps me. And Jesus said, pick up your mat and be well. Go and walk. Be well. And I just encourage you that whatever the hurts are that you have, invite Jesus into that and let that be the launching pad for Jesus' healing, to do something supernatural. And let's not tell Jesus how to heal. Let's just follow Jesus in obedience and let Jesus restore and heal and redeem at the pool of Bethesda, because God's loving kindness is the house that he invites us to live in for the launching pad of healing in our lives, as well as healing through us to the world around us. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for watching and subscribing. And of course, thank you for listening. And I want you to hit the notification bell right there, because that's a great way for us to keep you posted on content. And let me ask you this question, answer this for me. What would be a place of healing in your life where you need healing? Just answer that briefly. You just put like one word, but I'm interested to know, where do you need healing in your life? And our fantastic joke, I say with tongue in cheek, what is a forklift? What is a forklift? Food, usually. I know. See, I think that one's pretty lame too, but I know next week will be a lot better.